Hello, welcome to this week's weekly outlook. Just a quick touch on the dollar index before we go into trades of the week. Just to quickly note on the monthly chart where we are in terms of the dollar coming into some resistance here. Resistance across here. Also with this structure, support, possible support. I feel that the dollar has a little bit more downside until we come into this area, and then I'll be looking for things to turn around and look to trade to the upside in terms of the dollar. But at the moment, hands are off dollar pairs for swing trading until we get that turnaround. If we get the turnaround in the dollar to the upside. So with that being said, let's take a look at last week's trades of the week. We were looking at CAD yen to the downside, so we'll start there. And we'll go down into the daily time frame. If you check last week's video, we were looking for selling opportunities. Just look at the structure. Structure has changed, which we pointed out last week. We had a breakout of this, support. We had a breakout, a little bit of consolidation. Where is the support coming in? So if we had downside in mind, we have to look at previous levels of support here to turn into resistance, which it did, and it just fell straight away from the open. Any pullbacks we were looking for came straight back, took out a daily high, and fell. If you watched last week's video, I went into some detail about daily highs and lows. And for now, I do like CAD yen still to the downside. You can see we're quite in the wrong here to the downside. So any pullback into previous structure, so we have some support here, you can see that by this blue candle. If we come back into this area, this is where I'll be looking for another trading opportunity to the downside, and all I'm looking for is the next new low. We do have a rate decision out of Canada this week, so that's something to keep an eye on if you are trading CAD yen. Aussie yen we like to the downside. We did take in the group, we got squeezed pretty hard on it, but let's go into it. We're bearish on this instrument. A price was coming into an area of previous structure. So we had support here, support here, support. We had a limit order to sell here, stop above here, and we did get squeezed quite heavily on that, but market turned around and went in our favor, and we had quite a nice trade on that. So just looking at previous structure now, where I would like to get back on board Aussie yen if we can. Here is the next area of structure that I can see. Clear support here, clear resistance. We also have, if we take a look at this, support. Any pullbacks into this area of confluence, this is where I'll be looking for another leg lower in Aussie yen. Those are the two trading instruments I like the most. They paid quite nicely last week, and I will be keeping an eye on that as we seem to be getting quite the moves in the yen pairs. So just waiting on pullbacks to get back involved with that. A few more instruments I like to look of. We'll look at pound CAD. As you can see just by looking at this chart, this 4-hour chart, we are in an upward trend, and I'm just looking at previous levels of structure to try and get on board. I did put this into the group for last week, but we didn't come back down and touch that, so maybe that's something that we look at again this week. We have this previous Monday high acting as resistance here, resistance here. We got that break and we got that push to the upside. Now we're just waiting for a pullback to get back involved. We'll wait for a structure break and look to continue just the upward trend on pound CAD. So nothing too difficult to understand. We are on an upward trend. Pound seems pretty strong. CAD pairs looking pretty weak, and yeah, we're just trying to pair up the strongest pairs with the weakest, and I do like pound CAD to the upside. We'll see how it opens and we'll monitor it throughout the week, but I do like pound CAD to the upside. Another pound pair, pound dollar for short term upside. If we take a look at the weekly, we can see just this structure that we were looking at, support, resistance. We've got a weekly close there, so it'll be interesting to see if we pull back into that level and then maybe have another run higher up into this area of resistance. So maybe there is a little bit more room to the upside on the pound. That means there's a little bit more room to the downside on the dollar. If I do buy this, it'll be short term. I do prefer pound CAD for a longer term trade to the upside. But looking at pound dollar, let's go down into the 4-hour. Previous levels of structure, you can just see every time we break, come back, retest these highs, we get a push. So we have this obvious area of resistance. If we can pull back into that, then that would get me interested in buying pound. Any trades I take, I'll post it into the group. But yeah, just looking for any pullbacks to get involved with that. Let's take a look at some daily lows. Yeah, it comes in quite nicely. So this high here, if we can get a pullback early on in the week straight into here, then we'll be looking for more upside and just take it high at a time. Another instrument we'll take a look at is New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD looking pretty strong across the board. You can see we're in this upward trend, not really too many pullbacks. So if we do get the opportunity of a pullback, then we have to be prepared. What I'll do is mark out just this daily candle low and maybe this candle low. You can see anytime we sort of sweep candle lows, I'll just go in. You can see we have a sweep of a candle low here, and this is at the bottom before the next leg up. Sweep of a candle low here before the next leg up. A few sweeps, but you can see it would be a nice entry for the next leg up. We haven't really took any daily low now on this whole way up, so if we could pull back, deviate one of those lows, then that's what would get me interested in a move in New Zealand CAD to the upside. So at the moment, just waiting for a pullback in that. Same with New Zealand dollar. We'll wait for a pullback into key structure like this high, or wait for a daily low to go like this, get back inside and move to the upside. So yeah, Kiwi to the upside, pound to the upside, they'd be short-term trades. I'd rather look at pound CAD to the upside and New Zealand CAD to the upside if I was going to trade anything longer term. So let's take a look at silver. Daily time frame. I'm bullish on this. Would like a pullback. We have resistance here. A pullback, sweep a daily low, get back inside and look to take out this daily high. So we're just waiting for it to turn around, come back into a level of structure, and that is where we'll look to get on top of a trade to the upside. I prefer silver over gold, but gold is also looking pretty bullish. You can see overall on the daily time frame we have broke out of this channel, resistance, we've got a push, a little pullback, and now another push. I would like a sweep of the lows, something like this to get involved. I don't want to chase any instruments up here. I would rather wait for a pullback, and if I do get involved with those, I'll put them into the group. So silver and gold, I'm bullish, and we'll take a look at Bitcoin now. Bitcoin, I'm waiting for, if we go to the weekly, it's around 19k, but it's a level that I'm looking at for another leg lower. Support here, support here. So we have a little bit more room to the upside, which may coincide with that move in the dollar to the downside. But this is a structure of support, clear structure of support, and we also have these two highs that may be a little bit more confidence for another move lower. So with that being said, I am looking for a little bit more upside. If we take a look at the 2-hour chart, what have we broken out of? We've broken out of this structure here. Resistance, 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 resistance. We have previous Monday's high here. So if we pull back into there, we also have this added confluence of support. This is where I'll be looking to get long Bitcoin with that move. Just taking out this high first, and then if we've got a little bit more left to run, I will leave a little bit more on the trade. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at in terms of Bitcoin. That being said, we'll hope for another profitable week. And we do have some rate decisions we need to keep an eye on out of Canada, out of Australia. But I will post daily videos as I do in the morning into the group, so you know what I'm looking at on a daily basis.